platforms, whether it's moving platforms, whatever it is. But instead of having that variation, it would be cool to have like an intro where you could see the duck destroying the church, where you do see like some aliens coming down with some, putting down some moving platforms in the map, right? Like that. It's those little things, those quality of life things that kind of just make the game a little bit more enjoyable to play, right? So I'm not gonna lie, Rio, you're kind of cooking with that idea, man. But as we're cooking, these players are also gonna be trying to cook themselves. But the question is, who's gonna be the chef and who's gonna be stuck eating the food? We're gonna have the perspective of ACOG. Oh no, you were right. Look at Fat Man Jax. He's a light player.
All right, we get our first light, so that's awesome to see. Like I said before, we get to see different compositions, and due to the rule changes, we are seeing just a whole new style of gameplay. So Fat Man Jack running a light, I love it, love to see it, and I'd love to see just how lights are utilized, because they are kind of this very dynamic playstyle. We are seeing the fighting getting started. Both teams are shooting each other almost from the stairwells of these entry points in the map. Vault 1 has been tapped, and it does look like it's on the move. And we're going to see where they take it. I believe they're going to take it from B, because that is kind of the more open area. It's more, I believe B is the university. Not sure until they get a little closer to it, but we do see Fat Man Jack running on like 5 HP. He's getting res back, or healed back by his teammates, but pretty slow gameplay right now. Both teams haven't really kind of decided to push. They're kind of feeling each other out. I'm not sure if they have any experience or if they've played against each other before. But yeah, very slow. This is just kind of my biggest observation at this point.
Yeah, so what it's looking like right now is that basement dwellers, they have control of the vault, sure, but they do not have the control of the map. That's going to be the enemy team that has control. And that's kind of what it comes down to. They kind of don't want to just risk it and lose the first fight. But I do want to point out, we were mentioning earlier, NA versus EU metas, it does look like NA just kind of does have a different meta. We have no heavy in the map. We actually have a similar comp, a double medium light coming in from both teams.
Yeah, that is, it's wild to see. We just see the first cash out getting started, and boy, Kirby with that shiny diamond AK. That is cool skin. I'm sad I missed out on that. But nice frag going down, Goo being utilized as well. And this first vault.
Yeah, Navis already 1 health, but he's still trying to do damage. Oh my god, almost getting a pick. And he's getting his regen back. He's going to be back to full health. He did an amazing job just kind of playing his life there. And I said, well, you like to see, but he needs to get the cleanup. He's going to get the assist. Batman Jack is going to get taken down. That's a light player taken down. So this team does have the advantage, but no problem. Jay Konis and ACOX are just kind of playing their lives. They don't want to fully engage. They are trying to do damage, but notice how they're putting themselves in a position where they could do damage, but they're not risking their life, right? At the same time, they're just kind of trying to delay time for their teammate to come back. Ooh. And some great shots coming in from ACOG there, being able to not only get the revive, but also get a pick. And Navis, the only man standing, being able to get 1 trade, but that's not going to be enough. And just like that, this pink team is going to be, I believe that's basement dwellers are going to be taking home that first fight. And look at that cash out. Not much time. There is time for one last fight, but Worst Team and A are literally going to have to fully ape this.
I don't think that there's enough time. I think that they might get close, but yeah, look at this. It's cashing. It's just counting down. But I do want to point out that last fight, the last engagement, this seems really close. Both teams seem to be pretty much on point on healing and on damage. So this is pretty exciting for me because the gameplay seems pretty top level, even from these teams being in the losers bracket. So in one thing that we're seeing too is a lot of utilization of goo. But here they go. The steal is trying to happen. There was no time. They dived on that, but there's just no way they can get it. Squirtle goes down. And it does look like the basement dwellers came out on top of that team wipe.
Yeah, and that's going to be a pretty convincing lead. I think you were right. I think these fights can really go either way. A lot of the time, these light players are kind of just making the plays. They're doing a good job. I think both light players are doing a good job of kind of just trying their best to stay alive and dish out as much damage. And a lot of the time, what happens when you're 1 health, a lot of people just like to play reserve and just kind of hide in a corner and wait for the health to come back. But these light players instead, I like the way they're playing, even though they're low health. They're kind of playing like they're full health, right? They still have that confidence in them. They still got that dog in them. They have no problem trying to dish out damage, even though they're one shot. And I think that's going to be the main difference here. It's which light player is going to be able to entry and do as much damage as possible, because that's kind of what a light does. Light, like, you know, they don't have much health, but they do have that damage. So which light player can stay alive and get those sneaky picks?
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. And I'm amazed at how slow and methodical both of these teams are playing. They are staying so well grouped together. Basement Dwellers is a great example of this right now. You can see that the comms and the communication by their IGL is pretty on point. So we are seeing these small fights, no real commitment until somebody's been damaged low enough that they can make a move. It does look like the worst players in A have grabbed the cash out in the vault, and they are doing their best to run towards, I believe, C and get it started.
Yeah, and the fight has already started. Haycox with 2 health needs to be very, very, very safe, or they're going to die. But Fat Man Jack trying his best, but not really going to commit to that fight. They're just going to let that player kind of just escape. I mean, Fat Man Jack right here, he could play aggro and possibly get this pick, but Squirtle not afraid to continue the fight here, as they kind of just have to play a little bit reserved. Navis is about to come up in 1 second, so they kind of just have to wait for that regroup. And that's exactly what they're going to do. But there's a player super far away. This is a 3v2 for now, as Kirby already taken down. It's going to be up to Squirtle and Navis to try to clutch this up. And again, I want to see that. Oh my lord, what an amazing play, bringing down the statue and bringing down the cash out as well. Some amazing plays going on, and the jump pad there to also just put Saw on the wound, and they're able to, oh my god, the cash out went back up, and they ended up closing the floor. So they're back to where they started. WorstPlayersNA kind of have the advantage right now, but as I say that, one of their players are going to get taken down, and this is looking like a straight domination from Basement Dwellers. They should be able to win this fight, as Fat Man Jack doing a lot of damage. I want to see him play aggressive on that last player, but it might be the strategy. Just keep Squirtle alive here. Squirtle actually, he doesn't care that he's the last one. He's still trying to, he was still trying to steal it. And you know what? I think that's kind of smart. The reason why, personally, I think the reason why he stole it, he knew he was most likely not going to win that 1v3. But something that I noted earlier in the previous match is it takes longer to wait for your teammates to respawn. It's actually quicker if you guys full wipe, because as you can see, they're all up again and they're coming back to the fight already. And now you're coming back as a team. So it might be better to do that. But you know what? It didn't even matter, because the cash out is already over.
Yeah, that was really quite an amazing play. Just that whole setup there, where the use of the D-mat to drop the cash out down, and then dropped it down onto the bounce pad, and then have it bounce back up into the second area. You can just see the chaos.
I'm just saying. That might be me. Maybe not. Who knows? It could be somebody impersonating me. I don't know. I'm just saying. I see a CL40 in the map. I might be raging at you.
I will use the CL40 until I die, because it is the best gun in the game. Come fight me.
Oh,
anyway,
my God.
Here we go, getting started on Monaco. Much different game, much different map than Sis Horizon. So we don't have any variation from what I can tell. It looks like this is standard issue. Full daylight. We see that the church is still standing. So this will be a great standard issue map.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have Fat Man Jack switching guns, using a DMR instead. And oh, Jay Kone is actually using a pike as well. So we have 2 DMR users, Fat Man Jack and Jay Kone is both using long range guns. I would like to see ACOGs with maybe a shotgun, just to kind of have that long range engagement, but also the close range if it comes down to it at the same time, because it is platforms. We have the platforms, and I think that's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason why we have these DMRs coming out, which kind of makes sense. If you don't know, the cash outs are always pretty much going to spawn on top of those platforms, so you might as well take advantage of that long range.
Yeah, and honestly, when I see this map come up, I pull out the pike, because I think that it's just the perfect way to get that medium range engagement. Like, you can be just a nice distance away, have the sight advantage on them if you're running a scope, or kind of medium range if you're not running the if you're running just the bare non-scope version. I'm running out of words, but we will see that a lot of the fights happen on the rooftops, and that's what we are seeing here. But a lot of damage going off. Even Fat Man Jack is running the kind of medium range sniper on his thing. But there's the DMR being used, but no team engagements happening right now. Just a lot of this chip damage from rooftop to rooftop.
Exactly, and this is just the healer's job. They don't really get time to shoot too much. Their job is just to make sure their team does not die and they're nice and healthy. So this is just a battle of the healers, just trying to heal their teammates as they're kind of just praying that the other two teammates just kind of get that pick. And I mean, if you're basement dwellers, you definitely want to take these fights because you have the guns for it. And look at that, ACOG didn't even get shotgun. He's actually using an AKM. So all three players have a long range capabilities here. As WorstPlayersNA actually taking control of the church, which is an amazing position here, because this is essentially the best position in the map. You can oversee pretty much everything, and there's a lot of areas where you can just head glitch, which is exactly what we're seeing from KirbyBot, trying their best, but they are a little low. They don't have a healer. They have two lights and a medium, but the medium is not a healer. That is very, very risky. So if you're basement dwellers, you want to take these engagements, because as soon as you get somebody low, that is your cue to engage. So, I mean, based off the composition, I got to give it to basement dwellers.
Yeah, they have a really good comp, and I do want to point out, though, that WorstPlayersNA, Kirby is rocking the level 5 skin on that pike already. So you know that they are a beast with that pike. At least they use it pretty obsessively. So I would be a little worried on the basement dwellers. Somebody just coming in, swinging with that. But look at that. Long range hit. And it does look like Navarro is low. Or Navas, I'm sorry. And yeah, no vault has been started yet. No cash out is being played. We are still fighting over this first vault.
Yeah, and I think what happened there, the vault was kind of in the floor in the middle of everybody, but I think it was Fat Man Jack that went invisible and put a teleport down, and that's how we were able to see basement dwellers kind of take this positioning in B, although they weren't able to take the vault with them, and because of that, Navis is going to take full advantage of this and being able to take down Jay Cordes. That was an amazing first pick, and just like that, they're going to be able to win that fight. And finally we see WorstPlayersNA kind of just finally take control of the map here.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they're going to get it started on B. Are they running for it? No, they are running it to B. Okay, cool. Usually the strategy here is you try and bring it down, or you either set up and make sure that there's no way to get onto that platform. So it does look like they are going to try and play off the platform and play for time and then maybe drop it later. But if you are the aggressing team, you do want to try and drop this platform immediately, because the longer it stays up in the air, the more time you're just burning. So that is the kind of interesting thing about these suspended structures.
Yeah, and you look at that. The cash out is actually down in the floor, which is amazing, because now they're just kind of sitting in a height advantage and they don't really have to do anything. Literally all they have to do is just kind of kill time. Make sure they don't take too much damage, right? They do have two light players, and one of them is running an SMG. So the fights are not really in their favor when it comes to long range fights. But as I say that, we're gonna get the first blood. Jay Cordes once again being taken down. They need to get that revive ASAP, but they still got a lot of time to work with here. It's not the end of the world getting first pick, right? WorstPlayersNA could have technically played very aggressive there, and they might have been able to win that fight, but you don't have to take those risks either. So I mean, I'm not mad about the fact that they got the first pick and they didn't do anything about it, because at the end of the day, they are just delaying as much time as possible, and just like that, there's only like 45 seconds left. They were trying to throw a grenade, but they weren't able to. And you made a very strong point, Rio. This basement dwellers, it would be smart for them to take down the platform where WorstPlayersNA are, but Fat Man Jack is going to play aggressive. One shot going to be able to take one player out, but They are very low. Not that much time left. At this point, even if they win the team fight, they're not by not steal it.
Ooh.
Oh my god. I'm trying to see. Oh, that this player is clutching up. Who was that? Are they going to be able to get the steal? The nade is going to come in. But oh my god. Basement Dwellers with a last second steal. That nade actually
What just
almost
happened? What just happened there? The worst players in A had that. They had every bit of it. They had the advantage of height. They had the advantage of time. They had everything. I thought the worst in A had that, but Basement Dwellers just was able to push their defenses, and that amazing like aggro push that they just did. Wow, Basement Dwellers really kind of has the advantage. And you know what? They only have to get one more cash out for them to win this loser's bracket.
Exactly. And remember, this is only a best of 3. So this is who if Basement Dwellers wins this map, like Rio said, it's over. Worst players in A, they don't get their second chance. This is their second chance. So the loser of this series does get eliminated, and they won't be able to make it to Worlds. So there's a lot at stake here. I know worst players in A are feeling the nerves here, but this is the moment where whoever the IGL is, or even if they don't have an IGL, they need one player to say, you know what? We're down right now. We're down in Matt. We're down in cash out, but it's not over till it's over. Take a deep breath. Don't get nervous. We got this. And that's the type of mentality you need to have in these scenarios. Even if you're down, you can always come back up and even stronger. So hopefully these players can do that. And you know what? Worst players in A actually got control of the vault and they got height. This is a repeat, but look how aggressive they're playing. They went invisible first and then they engaged. That's how they're able to start these fights without getting picked off. And these nades are coming in clutch.
Ooh,
that's going to be the opening for Fat Man Jack to play, but the jump pad is going to bring him down. They're going to be able to get the assist on that. And once again, Basement Dwellers should be able to win this. But that turret, that turret's a one-man army right there.
Oh, look at that.
They can't even 1v1 a turret. They got to break it down.
That was a great use of the D-mat, honestly. It just dropped the turret down, and it does look like Basement Dwellers got the team wipe, and they're going to get the steal. So we're going to come down to one final push from the worst players, and I don't know. They have every advantage going for them. The Basement Dwellers, they have the height. They're going to break this zip. They're moving to an even higher plane. Yeah, and look, are they breaking the zip? Or are they leaving it? I guess they're going to leave it up. But they really just have to hold off for one more push, and then that's it. I don't know if anybody can break the Basement Dwellers defense on this last cash out.
Man, this might be a quick 2-0. There is a small chance the worst players in A could clutch this up, but I think the grenades are just doing the heavy lifting here. And that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Like, these nades are doing too much, and there goes one nade. Are they going to be successful with that? Not sure they were able to hit it, but that jump pad, I think that was an accident. The whole jump pad is still going to be able to get the revive though, and that's huge. This is the opportunity that worst players need right here. They did a lot of damage. They got the first pick. They kind of just have to clean up. They have to steal this. They cannot let go. It's now or never. Are they going to be able to get it?
They got it. They got the steal right at the end, the very last second.
Oh my God. What an amazing play. And you kind of just have to do that. Like, in those situations, you kind of just have to trust your teammates. Whoever's stealing it, they have to be just confident in their teammates enough to just kind of hold it. Because if you let go just to get that last kill, is GG's, because even if you get that kill, you're not going to have time for that steal. So amazing play coming in, confidence, trusting their teammates, and that's what's going to result in them winning that second cash out. And now all of a sudden, it's anyone's map.
It is, and honestly, the worst players in A, they just hopped in at the last possible second, and they really kind of played on to the chaos that was happening and forced the Basement Dwellers to hop in there and just try and fight and get on the person that was on it. But as you could see, that the worst players in A, they just kind of bundled up around the person that was stealing it, and it bought them just enough time. So it's amazing team plays that you want to see in teams like that. So probably the best play that the worst players have done today. And if they can bring themselves back, this is their opportunity.
That was a lot of damage coming in from Squirtle. Squirtle's absolutely beaming right now, not being able to clean up anybody though. And now Squirtle is on the run, trying their best to stay alive. And I think one thing to know here is that I could be wrong, but I don't think I've seen a trophy system or an APS coming down, which is kind of like what's going on right now. The grenades are kind of doing the heavy lifting on both teams, and I mean we have mediums all over the map without a without a trophy system? I think that's kind of like what's going on. If one of these mediums were to run a trophy system, these nades would be absolutely useless.
Yeah, that APS really can eat up everything. It only takes, I think, 4 shots to bring it down, but just stopping 4 nades and 4 of anything, rockets, whatever, is pretty beneficial for your team. Not only that, but the APS gives your teammates an opportunity to group up into one central location. So you become either a firepower house standing in a circle and dodging things, or you're able to heal up your team and kind of get them back ready for another engagement. And here, this is my least favorite thing about Monaco, is right now, on top of these rooftop fights that just seem to go on so long over the cash box, but they are pushing in for an engagement right now, so worst players are feeling a little confident. They did just get a great cash out. Can they get the steal? Can they swoop up this vault and bring it all the way to C or D?
Nah, Squirtle got a beamer on him. This guy is not missing a shot at all. Absolutely just doing so much for the team right now. And maybe that's what worst players needed. Maybe they needed a player like Squirtle to step up and do so much damage, because I mean, I want to say, like, so far in these last 2 engagements, Squirtle is doing the most right now. And Fat Man Jack right there just kind of put himself in a position kind of alone right now, taking a very bad 1v1. He needs to try his best to just stay alive, but his team comes in and collapses on Kirby. That was amazing. Fat Man Jack, at the beginning, it kind of looked like he was just throwing his life, but thank God for his teammate that ended up coming in and getting the pinch. So Fat Man Jack might have just been baiting the whole time.
Yeah.
But as we're seeing that fight, I mean, you have WorstPlayersNA just starting to cash out already. It's just trying their best to stay alive, though. This is a 3v2 fight. Nava is trying his best to help his teammate, and there he is. They need to get this pick, and they are, but they have to stay alive. They're gonna get that rest, unfortunately, and everyone is just running around, trying their best to not take too much damage. Navis, though, a one-man army here, trying his best. If that grenade hits, that would be amazing. Not sure if it connected, though. Navis being able to come back to life, getting his health back, and now they're able to teleport back in. Oh no, but Navis is gonna be falling. That is a very unfortunate mistake there that might actually cost them this round.
Yeah, this is anybody's cash out at this point, and it's really quite tense, and you can see a lot of the fighting's happening on the top level and on the bottom level. It does seem like the cash out is still in the air, so you're gonna have to either jump pad up there or, I don't know, drop it down. But ACOGs is the last person standing, and Navis is the last person standing on their team. So you got to get a res up, and I believe one teammate did just come back or coin in, and we're starting to see this fight. We're coming down to the last second. Ooh. Somebody has to dive on this. Fat Man Jack is trying to support his team, glitching him, getting him up. Here comes the zap. Did he buy his teammate enough time? He did. Look at that play. Now they just got to hold it for a few more seconds, heal his teammates, and just wait for them to take the victory. But I think the Basement Dwellers just came in there at the last possible second, and I think they just did it. Even with this drop, I don't think there's enough time to come back from this.
You're 100% right. This is going to be Basement Dwellers taking this home. And
wow.
I think what ended up happening there in that 1v1, I think it was ACOG was the last person alive. Not only was he able to get the revive, but he also had the utility to go